Hi, in this video, we are going to make a little video showing you how to use the breakout rooms option in Zoom. Before I do that, I just want to show you real quick, whenever you sign into Zoom, a lot of times the name that will appear will be the name whoever the device is saved under. Here it's under Colleen Holman, so I think that's a little informal for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these three little ellipses, and you can rename yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and put Miss Holman. Another great feature is as the host, or if you have a co-host, which I'm going to explain in a second. Let's say a student is using their dad's computer and their dad name all of a sudden pops up and you're like, who is this? You can go to any student and rename the student. Now, I mentioned co-host. I am very fortunate that Miss Smith is my co-host, or possibly my para. You can go and if you have the paid version of Zoom, you have the option of making someone a co-host. If I make Miss Smith the co-host, what is great about the co-host is that, let's say I have a student who's in the waiting room, she can go and admit them into the Zoom meeting. Or let's say a student needs to go into the waiting room or anything like that. As a co-host, she can do that. It was really great for checking attendance, to have a co-host being able to go in there and allow students to enter the Zoom meeting. That way I wasn't sitting there clicking. You can admit the meeting throughout the class. If you don't want to purchase the paid version of Zoom, there are ways around it. One thing that we did this summer, because I did teach summer school with another teacher, we both taught the class, is we just signed in using the same account. She signed in using her account. I signed in using her account, and I just had to rename myself because her name would pop up. So I just had to rename myself. One thing too that you see here is they do have the option to make anyone a host. So if you do have an emergency where someone's knocking at your door or you have to step away for a second, you can make anyone, you can even make the student a host. It's any participant. You can make a host for the time being. That way they would have full control of the Zoom meeting. So right now I'm just going to keep Miss Smith as the co-host. And what I'm going to show you is how you can use the breakout rooms. It's an awesome feature and I absolutely love it. I used it a lot and a lot of my students loved it, and really the possibilities are endless. So if you go to breakout rooms, I was using this earlier, so let me go ahead and recreate. One thing that you'll notice is you do have the option to make as many rooms as you would like. Um, I've known teachers who've done in the summer school where they created breakout rooms for every student. When it came time for independent practice, she put every student in their own breakout room, and she would hop between each individual breakout room checking, okay, what did you get for number one, or how are you doing? Do you need help? And so that way the kids worked independently on their workbook practice problems, and she bounced around. I'm just going to go ahead and make one breakout room for right now. You can do automatic. Now, automatic, they will simply take your class and create breakout rooms. Now, I'm going to show you what happens when I do that. Because I only have 3 people in my class, they go ahead and put all of these. Now, you can click on this 3 up here, the number of students in your breakout room. And you know what? I don't think Jane needs to be in the breakout room. I think she's doing good. I want her to stay with me. I do think John needs to work with Miss Smith. I don't think he's ready to learn the next step. And that's all you would do for that. Now, if you decide to do manually, it's pretty much the same thing. It may just look a little different. When you do manually, no names pop up. You just have to go to assign and then physically click on who you want to be in the breakout room. This is typically what I use, was the manually. I would ask students, okay, who wants to be in the breakout room? And I would move it over here and I would tell them to raise their hand. And every student that I saw that had their hand raised, I would go and click on. So that is one way to use the breakout rooms. Before I click on option or open all rooms, let me show you the options. Move all participants into breakout rooms automatically. That just means the second I click on open all rooms, they will move into their breakout room. If I don't select this, they will get a little window that will pop up on their screen that says, you have been invited to a breakout room. they have the option to click later or join. Now, you know your students, the older kids can possibly click on join without any problem. But maybe those elementary kids might accidentally hit the later and not go in the breakout room. So you know your population of students. For me, I just always have move all participants into breakout room automatically. Allow participants to return to the main session at any time. This is a great feature. Let's say Ms. Smith was working with 5 students who needed some remediation skills, and one student caught on really quick. Well, if you allow participants to return, that student can click the button that says leave breakout room. And that one student can return with me, and then Ms. Smith can continue working with the other students. One thing that I do find that helped out a lot this summer is that the teacher and myself that was teaching together, we were constantly texting each other during the breakout room. I would text her like, hey, I think so-and-so can come back. And she's like, okay. That way she knew, hey, this student's going to come back into the group. This here, the breakout rooms will close after 30 minutes. This is something that you cannot change as of now. And the last one here, countdown after closing your breakout room. So once you want to close the breakout room, they have a little window will pop up saying your breakout room is closing in 10, 15, 30, 60, or 120 seconds. It's entirely up to you. 2 minutes is very long, but maybe you're working on a paper and you feel they may need that. It's up to you however many seconds that you want. So once you know which students you want to have in your breakout room and your options are good, you would simply hit open all breakout rooms. Now, since I have the option set as they will break out automatically, as soon as I hit open all rooms, these 2 students are going to leave the Zoom meeting and go into the breakout room. You will see that they got the 2 little dots. This is to letting you know the 2 little green dots that John Doe and Miss Smith are now in the breakout room. And you can see that I did not assign Jane Doe. Now, if I decide later, if I have a bunch of students up here, and I'm like, you know what? This student really needs to join. I might shoot Miss Smith an email. Hey, I'm sending Jane to you. She needs extra help. And I can send another student to work with Miss Smith if I feel they need it. Okay. As you can see, John and Miss Smith windows, they're no longer here. I now can work one-on-one or in a small group with students who are ready to move on, and Miss Smith can continue to work with John. One thing as well is that we talked earlier that the teacher, the host, can join breakout rooms. If I want to join this breakout room, all I have to do is click join. So if I had multiple breakout rooms set, I can decide I want to join breakout room 1. And then when I'm done, I can leave that meeting, and then I can click on a breakout room 2, and I can continue bouncing around to the different breakout rooms. Okay. If I decide to close breakout rooms, and that's something that if you do have a co-teacher or a para, we were constantly texting back and forth. I would text her like, hey, we're ready, and just to let her know we're headed back. Or she might text me, hey, y'all, you're ready to come back? And I'll be like, no, I need a couple more minutes. But once I close all rooms, I set it for 10 seconds. It says all breakout rooms will close in 5 seconds. They do have the option to click a button that says leave now. And as soon as they click that button, you can see the little green dots are now gone. And now I have all 4 screens back on my computer. Okay. So that is just how you can use breakout rooms. What I love about the breakout rooms is once you set it, we just got out. I went right back into breakout rooms, and there they are. I don't have to reinvent my breakout rooms in the class. So let's say, and again, I love teaching math. I set up a breakout rooms for students based on an exit ticket the day before. And these were my students who were struggling. And I'm going to create my breakout rooms based on that. I might say, okay, I want y'all to go work in a breakout room on questions 1 through 3. When we're done, we come back out of class, we discuss questions 1 through 3. If I'm ready for them to go back to breakout room to do questions 4 through 6, I can just go right back here and hit open all rooms. If I decide, you know what, Ms. Smith, you did such a great job with John, I'm going to move John and give you Jane. I can make changes to it. But what's great about the breakout rooms is that you don't have to redo the breakout rooms every time you want to use them. We use the same breakout rooms, and we just made changes moved a couple of people around as needed. But that is a great feature. You're not constantly redoing the breakout rooms each time. One other thing about Zoom is that you can share screens. In the breakout room, you can also, as a co-host or the host, share a screen, or anyone can share a whiteboard. But in the whiteboard, that is simply a dry erase marker. I was doing this earlier. You can draw if you have a dry erase board. It is a stylus pen. If you have a stylus pen, it is a lot easier to write on this. You can change the format, the color, and things like that. You can also type any text in. What is the main idea on the dry erase board, on your whiteboard? If you go to settings in your Zoom, you can set it where anyone can write or annotate. So if I write on the board, okay, everybody, let me go ahead and just erase this. If I go ahead and write this problem and say, okay, someone, can you please write the answer on this problem? A student can use their annotation and write the answer. Okay, so students can write on your board. There is an option on the settings that you can set that allows you to identify who is annotating. And if a student was annotating the board, then right here, really small, would have their name. The name doesn't appear for the host or the co-host if they're writing. However, if a student is writing, a little square will pop up to let you know this is the person who is writing. That way, if someone wrote the correct answer, you would see a little box and it would say, oh, great job, Beth, that was right. In middle school, you might need that in case a student writes something on the board. You know who wrote maybe something inappropriate on the board. You can also clear all drawings, or you could just clear my drawings or things like that as well. But that is the whiteboard, which I did use a lot in the breakout rooms as well. You can, in the Zoom meeting, also share if you had PowerPoints that you needed to show, if you had maybe a smart board that you created. Maybe you were going to do a Kahoot game. The kids absolutely love doing Kahoot during the Zoom meeting. So all these things you can share. So again, that is just a very quick little tutorial on how to use the breakout rooms for Zoom. I hope that you learned a lot in the little tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.